What's up, guys? Welcome to the Jared Williams Show. My name is Jared. This is my ugly counterpart, Joel.
Nice.
Just kidding.
Wow.
This episode, actually, my name is Jared. I grew my business to $5 million a year in sales, did over $1.5 million in profit-ish, and just sold it for $5 million. And in this episode, we're going to give you, I basically, over the last few years, boiled my business down to 5 basic systems. And we've talked about the systems individually, but on this episode, we're going to give you the big picture, all 5 systems that you need and how they all link together, start to finish, beginning to end. By the end of this podcast, you'll have a really good idea of what the basic systems of a highly profitable home service, plumbing, HVAC, electrical business need to be and how to put them in place. But first, what's up, Joel?
What's up, Jared? How's it going?
It's going good. That was a long intro.
Yeah, you did really good though. I'm really proud of you.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah. Jared. If ever, Jared, you're now known as Jared the Nugget Provider.
The Nugget
Jared
Provider.
the Nugget Provider. Yeah, that's your new name.
That's a really good nickname. How did you come up with that?
How did I come up with that? I just, I'm a really smart guy. Actually, it's one of the guys in our coaching program said that you drop nuggets all the time.
Drop nuggets all the time.
So then, I just think it's a funny thing to call somebody.
You should come up with a better.
No, I like it. I think we're gonna keep it
like the Nugget Man, or like
the Nugget Man,
or or
I'll ask ChatGPT what your name should be.
Yeah, there you go.
It reminds brand.
It reminds me of like turds.
That's why I like it, because it reminds me that you're just dropping these little golden turds everywhere.
So it should be like the golden turd or something like that.
Nah,
something better than. Wait, what
Jared,
you call me?
the golden nugget provider.
Golden nugget provider. Yeah, get provider out of there for sure.
I think provider is the best part because it's just like terrible.
It is terrible.
Yeah. No, I'm doing good, man. It's really hot out, but I don't even notice because it's like it is what it is.
It's hecka hot, but it's like whatever.
Yeah, it's like what are you gonna do about it?
I'm just sweating.
I'm just gonna change my clothes like 3 times. This is actually my 3rd shirt today.
Is it really?
Yep. Started with 1, sweated it out. Started with 2, sweated it out. About to sweat this one out. It is what it is, man.
Yeah. Are you one of those guys that no matter what you're doing, your armpits get sweaty?
Yeah, I'm just a sweaty dude. Always been that way.
Always?
Yep. Came out the womb sweaty.
It's in your genes?
Yep. Sometimes.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, thanks, Mom. Yeah.
It's probably not even your mom's fault.
It's
probably your dad's fault. Yeah. Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Dad.
Okay, so before we get started on
whatever you just said,
what we're going to talk about today, whatever that is, the 5 systems that you need and how to do it all. If you guys have been listening along, you would know we have been working on starting a pressure washing business, which is going to seem like forever for you guys because, believe it or not, we film some of these podcasts in advance and we release them over a long period of time. So
we're smart that way.
When you actually see this, we've been working on the business for what?
Oh, I don't know.
2.5 weeks?
Now?
3 weeks? 2.5?
You probably 2.5. Is it really? I think it's only been like 2.5.
I think 2.5 weeks.
Feels like a long time though.
Yep. So if you've been listening along, you already know I just sold my plumbing business in Fairbanks, Alaska, probably about a month ago.
Has it been that long?
It's been about a month because then I stayed in Fairbanks for a week and then I came back here and then we started a pressure washing business. So I sold my business in Alaska for $5 million. You can go, if you want to learn about that and how all that whole process went, go listen to the past couple episodes. That's what we did it on. And when I came back down here, it's like, okay, what are we going to do next? And we decided to open a pressure washing business. So we have a pressure washing business in the works, and we're just going to keep you guys updated as we go through that. I'm looking at this camera, hoping it's in the right spot. But hey, you know what? Camera, whatever.
I mean, that's what happens when you do the checklist.
If the camera's in the wrong spot, sorry guys, you have to deal with it.
You're gonna have to deal with looking at Jared crooked like.
It's not even the viewers; it's the editors. They're gonna be like, "Crap!"
They're gonna be like, "Oh, this is weird.
How do I make this look right?"
Yeah. Yep.
Whatever.
Yep.
So I also started a plumbing business. We'll keep you updated on that. And then we have, I started a leasing business as well. So
you did a lot of things. We opened a lot of bank accounts, and
it's not that bad. When I was at the bank the other day, the lady was like, "You got," because I was like moving money from Alaska to Florida banks, and it was a lot of money.
Yep.
And she was like, and I had all these accounts already open
Yeah.
for businesses that were starting.
Yeah.
She was like, you got a lot going on. I was like, it might seem that way, but it's
Yeah.
really not that bad.
Yeah. Well, especially at this stage where it's like, it's a lot of like, you do a little bit and you just have to wait. Like,
Yeah, it
like
is.
we bought some real fancy pressure washing trucks that are being outfitted.
Yeah.
and-
So let's keep them up. Let's
so
give them the update.
So we bought 2 big old box vans and we put like $60,000 worth of power washing equipment in there, like some big old 10 gallon per minute washers and stuff like that. And so those are all getting outfitted right now. Well, the second one is hopefully going to be there soon. And then we're going to go pick them up and drive them back. And then we're going to start learning how to use them and washing houses. And right off the bat, what, were you going to say something?
I was going to interrupt you, but it's all right. Some dude on the last podcast we put out didn't like our slurps.
Our slurps? Oh, that's for him.
So that one's for him.
That's a funny thing to comment. Like the time it takes to comment, I didn't like the slurp. They must have really bugged him. He must have been driving with his headphones in and was like, dude, I can only hear the slurps.
Maybe his stereo was EQ'd to like really pick out the slurps.
You remember when we'd be playing music at Friends Church and Ben Sanders would do this in the mic?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably the same thing where it's just like, oh. Anyways, we ordered some cool trucks. They're going to be here in, I don't know. Or we're going to have them down here maybe in like 4 to 6 weeks or something.
So I don't know if we have any pressure washers in the audience, but basically what we ordered was some Isuzu. They're Isuzu basically flatbeds without the bed.
Right.
They're like the squinchy. They remind me of like trucks you'd see in Britain or like when I was in Australia, I saw a ton of these trucks.
Yep. And I think I saw one power washer's review of his $150,000 rig, and it was on the flatbed of the same truck that we have.
Yeah. So it's an Isuzu.
They're GMCs.
We bought DGMCs.
Yeah, but
Okay.
they're off
Same
of
thing.
That. Yeah, they're off of that same. I think they're the skinnier.
So it's probably
models.
just not going to last as long.
Probably not. But, yeah.
Probably not. They're freaking expensive.
Yeah, they were expensive.
So we bought these trucks. It's like a $84,000 truck. And then we ship the truck to an outfitter. Actually, we buy the truck. It has a box on it.
Yep.
How big is the box?
16 foot.
So big box, 16-foot box. We ship it to the outfitter and they outfit it.
Yep, they're gonna put all the cool stuff in there and send us pictures and
so we bought 2 trucks. One of them is currently getting the box put on it. It'll be to the outfitter by the end of the week. And then we've got a truck that is at the outfitter right now.
Yeah, and they should be sending us some build layouts here pretty soon and before they start bolting everything down.
Yeah.
Which will be cool.
Yep. So we're getting them set up. How much water can we hold?
It's like 550 gallons.
Okay.
Plus like I think 50 gallons of like 100 gallons total of chemical.
Okay.
Spread between different buckets and junk.
Gotcha.
Different tanks and junk.
And we're going to have these trucks set up so that we can have 2 guys in a truck. And we can basically go to a home. We'll roll out hoses and 2 guys will wash and then roll up hoses and split.
Yeah. And I mean, really, like, we're really excited about this business because I think we can be really, really efficient. And it's very much like the thing that we notice in almost every market with any home service niche is that there's just a lot of people doing stuff.
Yeah.
But you and I look at it and we're like, none of these guys are doing it in a way that is actually helpful or that great to the marketplace.
Yeah, nobody does it very well.
Yeah. So, and I think guys will get tripped up on this because they'll be like, dude, there's like 1 million people in my area. I'm competing with everybody. And it's like, well, you're competing with them if you're going to do it like them.
Yep.
But you can just, in certain markets, like especially in ours, you can just kind of come over the top and just drop a real solid business model and an operational structure that's systematized, and then you can just clean up.
Systematized. And you look, here's the thing, when you do that, when you come in and you operate under a different model, right? Or a business model that actually makes money, you put yourself in a market of one.
Yeah, and for us in this market, we'll definitely be in a market of one.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're pretty confident that it'll work just from what we know. So it'll be really fun for you guys to hear in like 9 weeks and we're like, this is hard. This ain't working like we thought it would at all. This is
The thing that we didn't think about.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll have all those obvious things where we have to figure stuff out and have struggles in the model. But I think we're starting out really strong, and I mean, I'm really excited.
So we got 2 trucks coming. We have a brand that's going to get done. I have a meeting with them in a couple of days.
Nice.
To start the branding process. We built a temporary brand on ChatGPT, and then when the trucks get here, we're going to go. The funny part is
we onboarded with Sarah.
Yep. We'll try that out. And the funny part is we know the business model. Like, I understand the business of it.
Yeah.
We get calls to go do work, and then we go do the work because it's extremely similar to my plumbing business.
Yeah.
But the funny part is we know nothing about pressure washing.
Yeah.
Except for what we've learned in the last 2.5 weeks.
Yeah. And most of my time in the past 2.5 weeks has been devoted to like the logistics of getting the business set up, not even beginning to learn about the operational side. Yeah. And then we still have Wealthy Plumber doing stuff. And so just recently that's been taking up a lot of my time.
Yep.
And so it's like, it's kind of fun actually to juggle like a whole bunch of balls in the air at once. But then it's like, okay, where am I at? Okay, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? You got to stay organized with the whole system.
Yep.
So in the next, like, probably starting next week, there's going to be a lot of just like educational, like, okay, this is how we do this.
Yeah.
So that then when we get the trucks, we'll be like, okay, we understand actually how to do this.
Well, and then we're going to go do a bunch of free work.
Oh, yeah.
Is what we're going to do.
Yep.
Because there's all sorts of different styles of houses in all sorts of different areas. And we're just going to go knock on doors and say, hey, your house is dirty. Want us to clean it for free?
Yeah, exactly.
Or, hey, we're cleaning houses for free. Want us to do yours? No strings attached.
Yep.
And we're going to try and have our software ready by that time so that we can start getting their information in the system. And then hopefully at the end of the free service, sell them on a membership to come back next year and do it again.
And then hopefully or whenever they want, come back quarterly, whatever they end up wanting. And,
yeah.
And then hopefully get a 5-star review out of it too.
Yep.
And so that we can really start gaining traction on that game. But I think once we get it figured out, then it's just going to be a big networking game within commercial jobs and residential to get a healthy mixture between the two.
Yep.
Because again, it's like in my opinion, we're sort of in like the cornucopia as far as markets for these types of things.
I think so.
Like we have so many businesses here who there's really nobody they can really hire to come wash their stuff because it's just kind of like one truck chuck style businesses.
Yep.
Which is they might not be equipped for it or they might not do it quick enough. Yep. Where we can come in and do it quick and we will answer our phone and will be really easy to work with. Like payments will be good. Like there's going to be all the layers that we always talk about on this podcast, but within this power washing business.
Yep.
And so, yeah, we're just trying to grow a big old thing, see what we can do.
Yeah.
Have fun playing the game.
100 million. That's the goal.
Yeah. 100 million.
Dude, I think we can do that in Florida and we'll probably be in Florida. My guess is we'll be Florida, Texas, and the Carolinas. I bet we could hit 100 million. No problem.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm excited. It's fun.
We'll keep you updated.
Oh, yeah.
And then the plumbing business. So I started the business, Wahoo Plumbing. The brand is done. The business licensing is all there, but I put it on hold.
Dang. How come?
Just to get the pressure washing company up and going.
Gotcha.
Plus it was, I'm busy enough.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
I don't need to push on it super hard, so I'm not going to.
Yeah, or otherwise pushing on it hard would be like what? Like you jumping in the truck and like doing stuff if you're really after it?
I would start, next step would be hire a marketing company, get marketing going, get a couple trucks, get them wrapped, get them tooled up, hire a couple guys, hire CSR, start running calls.
Essentially the same thing that we're doing with Dude Wash, except just with Wahoo.
Yeah.
But Dude Wash is so easy because it's like I can hop in a truck. Yep. You can hop in a truck. Yeah. Our video editor guy Morgan is coming down and he'll probably hop in a truck. Like,
yeah, it's going to be dope.
So it's like, yeah, it's just going to be really fun. We're just excited to be able to go outside and do stuff.
Yeah. It's going to be fun.
My back hurts from sitting in chairs all day.
I know, dude. I know.
Yeah. People don't think about that. They're like, oh, to work from home. It's like,
I want an office job.
Like, I don't know about that.
This job is hard on my knees.
Yeah. It's like, well, this job's really hard on my back.
Dude, yeah. Office work is hard on your back and your hands get soft. And then anytime you go do anything, your hands tear up.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's damn.
Yeah.
I got little baby hands now.
I know, soft hands. Oh, yeah, that was an ad that we ran a long time ago. Soft hands.
Soft hands.
Yeah, it's a good performing ad.
Dude, the funny thing about, so we made a soft hands ad. It was like, my name is Jared and I have soft hands.
Yeah.
And dude, so many people watched that video and clicked on the ad, but nobody bought anything from it.
Probably because they didn't want soft hands.
They didn't want soft hands.
They just wanted to see if there's an opportunity for them to make fun of you somewhere in there.
Maybe. I was relating the soft hands to have made it a lot of money and now I don't have to work. Right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, exactly.
And it like worked to hook them in,
Yeah, it's a good hook.
but then nobody ever bought anything.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is.
Screw those guys.
Real quick, I want to press this point because this is such an important point, is that one of the big lessons that we've been learning over the past 2 years, we could even say,
Okay.
and we haven't really figured it out until right now, and arguably we're still working on it,
Yep.
is the value of just focusing on just one task, one idea, one business.
Yep.
And not worry about these extra add-ons to try to bring in more income.
Yep.
And I think people do this all the time. And
Yep.
I've been talking to you about this just in the last couple of days, but the whole idea of stacking verticals, where I think business owners jump to that idea really fast. And they jump to it not because there's an advantage. They jump to it because they don't know how to make their current thing work. And so they're like, well, I got to stack another vertical. And in my mind, the example that I hear most commonly and encounter most commonly is like people who are in real estate. Well, they'll say, well, I'm in real estate. I'm going to start some sort of contracting business so that then I can use my contracting business to help flip my houses. And then since I'm in real estate, I can then sell these houses. And they're like, I'm going to make all this money. And what I've learned to tell those people is like, you should just get better at real estate.
Get better at the one thing you're already doing.
Yeah.
The one thing you're already good at.
Yeah.
It's like we have tried, you know, my plumbing business started doing really, really well. Then we're like, let's start a social media marketing agency because we have a really unique way of doing social media and it works really, really well. Well, when we did that, I had to abandon everything I had spent the last 2 or 3 years learning and really the last like 6 or 7 years learning.
Right.
The first few years were really slow learning.
Right.
The last 2 were really fast learning, condensed. And so I had gained all these skill sets and only a couple of them translated over to a different business model.
Yeah.
And had I just back then said, hey, let's go start a pressure washing business 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, or even a year ago when you got here,
Yeah.
it would have been a much better move.
Yeah, because we would have made more money. Yeah. And I mean, obviously, like, for us, I think everything's worked out really well to where that we typically have pivoted out of opportunities at almost like the perfect time.
Yeah.
To where we didn't really lose anything. We just sort of like dropped into certain business models, gained all these skill sets, and then said, wait, this sucks. And then left. Then found a new business model and then had the same revelation.
Yep.
And so like right now, I feel like we're set up really well in a lot of ways to continue to push this forward, which is cool.
We have inadvertently gained a lot of valuable skill sets. The funny thing is, like, you know, you hear Dave Ramsey say, like, success. He always says, my success stands on top of a mountain of failures. And I used to not understand that. And now I get it a little more. It's like, because the only successful thing I've done is really like actual success that set me up in life with money, right? And income is my plumbing business.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Everything else I've done, my personal brand, my coaching program, we had the social media brand. I've learned a ton. I think I've dabbled in a couple other things too, but I've learned a lot. Like I learned skill sets that are going to do well for me in the future, but we didn't build or create anything like that cool or that special or that is bringing in life-changing income, right?
Yeah, sure, for us, yeah.
Yes. Not to say that I still think my personal brand will.
Oh, yeah.
I think long-term, like a long term.
I think it's going to be rad.
I think it's going to, here's what I think. I was thinking about this today, actually, because personal brand takes a lot of my time.
Yeah, sure.
And I love to be able to give back to the community, right? So we've got plumbers that we get to help out. Yeah. Like we've changed a lot of people's lives.
Yeah.
Like we get messages all the time of like, hey man, I saw your videos. I just want to let you know that I wasn't making any money, and thanks to you, I'm now charging more, and I'm doing some marketing. And I'm flat rate. And I'm actually making money for the first time.
Yeah, which is super rad.
We get that all the time.
Yeah, very grateful to participate sort of in that life-changing endeavor.
Yeah, so that's super, super dope. The only benefit that has to me is that I feel good about it.
Sure.
Which isn't I don't take that lightly. But I think long term it's going to be, people always say your network is your net worth. And I freaking hate it because I hate networking. To me, it's like I just hate it.
Yeah, I know.
But like today, so we've been, we met Doug Wyatt with Synergy Learning Systems, bought his coaching program for my plumbing business in Alaska. It's a great program. It's not a coaching program. It's a technician and CSR training plus sales training. Yeah. Really good. The mindset portion is worth what you pay for it.
Yeah, mindset stuff, leadership stuff.
There's one video in there where he talks about one aspect of mindset that if your guys could listen to it and have it really sink in, it's worth the entire cost of the program. That one video. Yeah. Plus there's hundreds of other videos in there that you get.
Very thorough. And you get these big old
valuable
thick notebooks that have all this cool stuff in it.
Yeah, super rad. Anyway, so we've kind of sat down with Doug and Bryce and just got to know them a little bit. Okay. And so I'm having this problem with accountants. I hate accountants.
I know, you and accountants.
It is so hard.
Maybe you're blacklisted in the accountant community. Maybe that's what's happening. You might listen to this podcast.
Don't deal with that Jared Williams
guy. He doesn't like us. Well, we'll show him.
It is so hard to find a good accountant. And what I mean by that is number one, most accountants don't know what they're doing. And so you have to watch them and make sure, which means I have to learn how to be an accountant to some degree, right? Yeah. But most of them don't know what they're doing. And then I need an accountant that knows what they're doing and that I can communicate with. Yeah. And so typically accountants that know what they're doing, they're like nerdy accountants, right? And they don't communicate very well.
Yeah, sure. So they're accountants for a reason.
They're accountants, right? They look at numbers all day. They don't talk to human beings. Yeah. And so
such a probably terrible caricature of an accountant.
It is. So it's so hard to find a good accountant. Anyway, so just today you were like, hey,
talking to Synergy guys, talking to
Synergy guys. Yeah. Hey, you guys know any good accountants? Yeah. We haven't heard from them yet, but if they can point us in the direction of a good accountant, and we totally will, and that works out, that will pay for my personal brand for a year. Yeah. Just that one.
Yeah. One little move, one conversation that
one. And so it's that's the network. Yeah. It was, I knew this guy. I was able to just ask him for a reference on a good accountant, and he pointed me in the right direction. And I have this relationship with this good accountant that I can keep using for years to come, and that'll save me tons of money. Yeah. Tons of headache, tons of time, tons of money.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it.
I had that aha moment today.
Yeah, you're like,
where it was like, oh, okay. That's how your network helps you out.
Yeah, it just helps you. And again, that's just like, I think you gain access to networking opportunities for a lot of reasons that are pretty complex. But to me, what strikes out most is you just have to be honest and have integrity. And I would say be really nice to everybody you meet. And then try to do really good with whatever you're doing. Because it's really, I like Doug and Bryce at Synergy because they're just genuinely out there trying to help the community and provide a good product, which is all we've ever been trying to do as well. Yep. And so there's just an easy connection there. Yeah. And it's just it's pretty bait. I talked to him this is exactly what we want, it's just there's no weirdness or anything. And so then when you get that, you're like, wow, this is a relationship where there's a lot of shared values here. Yeah. So then it's easy for them to be like, yeah, I'll totally help you out. And I'm like, yeah, I'll help you out, whatever you need. Yep. And those are really cool relationships within business that you can have. And then that'll just can turn into other relationships. And then you start to be like, oh my gosh, if I need anything, I just got to call so-and-so. Yep. And then your life gets easier based upon the relationships that you build. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, it's dope.
Super dope.
On that note, we'll be at Pantheon this year.
Oh, yeah. Whew. Big news. We usually can't get Jared out of his house for anything, but
we will be there attending, saying hi to everybody.
Yeah, I'm going to wear my Jared Williams mask just to confuse the, It'd be cool.
Dude,
right?
I'll be surprised if anybody recognizes me.
I'll
be surprised.
Yeah, I'm completely neutral either way. I won't be surprised either way. I'll just laugh either way.
I'm just stoked to go there and learn.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, listen to some people.
I would
done
really,
cool stuff.
I'd really like to meet some people who have taken a business legitimately. And I say legitimately because we have a lot that haven't legitimately done it.
Sure.
Taking a business to, 15, 20 million.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the model to probably 7 or 8 million, I got it figured out.
Mm-hmm.
It's the after that I don't know about. What comes after that?
Yeah, the next jump.
Yep.
And how to keep a simple thing as you just necessarily have to have more complexity because you have more parts moving.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you still keep the thing simple, tight, making good money with good margins
Yep.
as you increase territory and breadth and all that kind of stuff?
Yep.
Yeah, it'd be cool to talk to some folks.
Yep. So Pantheon 2024 will be there if anybody that listens to this podcast, YouTube guys, whatever, reach out on Instagram if you're going. And
I mean, if we're really cool, we could like schedule a meetup. Probably just be you and me.
Yeah, just me and you there alone.
Like, you just got to try.
There are a couple dudes from our coaching program going. We'll be going out to dinner with them. So
Cool. Yeah.
yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
do it.
Let's get into it.
Okay.
So there's over the last probably year, I have gotten to understand what I would call the model for, at a deeper level.
Mm-hmm.
And so as I teach this stuff to other people, there's a ton of little things that you teach. Little nuggets. I'm the nugget dropper. but it's like
the nugget producer.
The nugget producer. I'm a production of nuggets. It's like, how do you, we need to be able to like condense this into like something that you can think about easily and you can work on one aspect at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have come up with a way to split the business up into 5 basic pieces. And it's nice and simple because we can be like, they're typically lacking in one of those pieces.
Yeah, sure.
And it's easier to identify like, oh, you're lacking in this piece. Here, go watch these videos.
Yeah, sure.
That explain how this piece runs and make sure you implement and do everything.
Mm-hmm.
That way that piece is fixed. And then once you have that piece fixed, then we'll work on the next piece.
Yeah, sure.
Right? And so I'm going to give you the overview of the 5 systems, and then we'll kind of go into them in the order that you need to work on the pieces.
Gotcha.
Okay. And then if you're listening and you're lacking in any of these pieces, well, now you know what system you need to work on in your business. Sure. Okay. By the way, we have a free book. What do we call it?
Playbook.
Grab our playbook, wealthyplumber.com/playbook.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're watching on YouTube, click the link in the description.
Mm-hmm.
It's free. You got nothing to lose.
It's actually helpful. It's not crap.
No, it's super helpful. Yeah. Goes over a lot of things that most people don't know. Plus, there's a free hourly rate calculator in there. And if you go get the link for the calculator and you go to that page, there's a 45-minute video on that page that tells you how to use it.
Yeah.
It's extremely valuable.
Mm-hmm.
That alone is worth, that calculator that's in there may be millions of dollars.
Yeah, I've talked to people who've gotten the calculator, and then I called them to sign them up for coaching a couple months later, and like, we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
And
We're making money.
Yeah, all right, cool.
Dang it.
Thanks. You're
It's
welcome.
too good.
Yeah.
You made
Yeah.
it too good.
Yeah, can you at least take me out for a steak or something? Come on now.
Yeah. If you got value out of the calculator, the free one, and you used it and it made you more money, comment in the comment on YouTube.
Yeah.
If you're listening and you got value, just give me a hoorah in your car.
Yeah. We'll hear it.
We'll hear it. Okay. 5 systems. I always have a hard time remembering these, but I think I got it down this time.
I believe in you.
So and I usually put this one at the end, but I'm going to put it at the beginning this time. At the very beginning, we've got the financial system.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really important. Next up, we probably have the customer acquisition system. Okay. Mm-hmm. So once we have finances, we need to be able to get custom. Like once we know we know how to make money, then we need to get people to go make money with.
Right.
And then we have the fulfillment system. Right now we have customers. We need to know how to fulfill. Actually, you know what? Before that is probably the call center system.
Yeah.
Right. So how do we take an incoming call and turn it into a booked job that we can then fulfill on?
Right.
Okay. So then we have the fulfillment system, and then we have the follow-up system. That's it. Super
that
simple. 5.
Yeah.
There's same again. USAM. Financial system.
Customer acquisition.
Customer acquisition system.
Call center system.
Call center system.
Like, what'd you call it? Like, how do you do the work system?
Fulfillment system.
And follow-up.
Follow-up. Okay. In that order. That's the order that I would think about putting them into place.
Like if you okay.
You don't have to perfect them in that order. Like you might get a haphazard call system in place.
Sure.
But it's good enough for now.
Yeah.
And then you're going to move on to your fulfillment system, and you're going to come back to your call center system at some point in time.
If you miss one of them, like what?
So if you try to like skip ahead in the order, right? If you try to work on marketing without having your financial system right,
which is pretty common. I'd say that's like
extremely common.
Probably one of the most common errors is that one right there.
The most common error that I have seen over the last 3 years of talking to plumbers and who own businesses.
Maybe even talking to business owners.
Talking to business owners in general. It's very true.
Yeah.
They have no idea what their financial system is.
Yeah.
They don't understand why they charge what they charge, and they don't understand what their P&L is telling them whatsoever.
And because they don't understand those things, they don't understand that if they make changes to what they charge, what that can do to everything else in their business and their lives.
Yes. Yep.
And that's key.
Because
then they can't see like, oh, if I just do this, then this is the result. Oh, that doesn't sound that bad. I'll just do that.
Yep. So like if you went to try to do marketing and you didn't have your financial system figured out, you wouldn't know how to make sure that you're budgeting properly for your marketing.
Yeah.
And then if you try to go, second mistake I see is people don't want to spend on marketing.
Yeah.
So they solely focus on fulfillment.
Yeah. Typically people are really fulfillment heavy.
Yeah.
Because it's just what you know. When you're a plumber, you know how to do plumbing.
You know how to do the plumbing. Right. Yep. But you don't really know how to like actually fulfill on making really happy customers.
Yeah, sure.
And then nobody does follow up.
Correct.
Like nobody does follow up, and then the call center is always like the last thing that people think about.
Yeah, people will hire like a gobule of technicians, which is a technical term, by the way. It means 2.5 technicians.
Cool.
They'll hire a gobule before they even bring in a CSR.
Yeah.
And then that's like that business owner's life is just chaos.
I've seen guys with 7 guys and the owner's still answering the phone and out in the truck because he doesn't have his financial system or his call center system or his follow-up process in place. None of that, right?
Would you say that if you leave some of these things unattended to, is there just a lot of missed opportunity as far as like leaving cash on the table?
Oh yeah. Like imagine you're not priced right.
Oh yeah, sure. Of course.
How much cash are you gonna leave on the table?
Yeah.
Tons.
Or like if you're not following up on unsold estimates.
Yeah. Following up is fortunes in the follow-up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay. So financial system. It's very simple. You got to be expensive.
Yeah.
Like number one, you need to figure out how much it actually costs you to run your business so that you know what your overhead is and you know how much your cogs are going to cost when you go to price the work, right? So, well, like, what does it actually, like, sit down, what does it actually cost you to run your business? And then divide that up per month, and then you know your overhead number for the month. It's like, okay, if this is my overhead number, then I need to bring in enough money to cover that overhead and have some left over. And so you can say, okay, an easy way to do that is just to say, okay, this overhead number is going to be 30% of the total revenue that I bring in, which would mean that leaves you 20% net profits. You need to have a 50% gross profit. So now you know whenever you price your jobs, how much do I cost? I need 50% gross.
Sure.
Including the time that isn't billed.
Yeah, sure.
So you would take, and you can use the calculator in the playbook over there. It'll walk you through a different process.
Mm-hmm.
But you can take how much a person costs you.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you pay your guys $35 an hour.
Gotcha. If it was just me in the truck, what would I do?
Just use what you would pay somebody else.
Just consider myself a technician.
Yep.
What I would pay for a technician.
Yep.
Okay.
And then you would mark that up, not mark it up, but you would adjust it for efficiency.
Okay.
And I would start at probably 60% efficiency.
Okay.
Just for easy math. If it's just you.
And then what do you mean by efficiency?
So there's two things that you got to think about when you're pricing yourself, okay? Mm-hmm. You have a guy in a truck going and doing jobs. He's only going to bill out so much of his time. Okay?
Yep.
And so over time, you need to track what's called billable efficiency. Mm. And I consider that to be how much time did the guy work? So let's say he worked 2,000 hours out of the year. Mm-hmm. And how much of that time did he actually bill out to the customer? Mm. And typically it's about 55 to 65%. It's probably about 50 to 60 is your typical average, okay? Mm-hmm. So like in our course, we always start guys at 55. We're going to just assume you're going to bill out 55% of your time. Mm-hmm. Okay. If that's the case, then for the hour of his time that we're charging for, we need to include time that we're not charging for.
Yeah.
So we do that by adjusting the cost of the person. So if he costs $50 an hour and we're 50% efficient, now he costs you $100 an hour.
Yeah,
right?
Gotcha. Yeah, because you can't just... Yeah, you have to account for the time that he's still going to be... It's not like he's going to go home for those other half he's not working or something.
Yeah, you're still going to pay him for it. Mm-hmm. And so now we've adjusted for efficiency. Now we need to adjust to hit the desired margin on our P&L. Mm. So we would say, okay, desired, let's say he costs us $100 an hour once we figure in efficiency. Now we're going to figure in, we need a 50% gross profit or a 60% gross profit. Mm-hmm. Like if I was shooting for 50, I'd probably price at 60 just to give myself some fluff.
Yeah.
So you would take that $100 and you divide by 0.4 and it would give you your hourly rate, whatever that is.
Gotcha.
Dude, we can do that math.
Math time.
Let's do it real quick.
Math time.
It's math time. 100 divided by 0.4 would be 250. You'd have to charge $250 an hour. If you use the calculator in the playbook, it's going to give you you're going to have to charge like $400 to $500, maybe $600.
Yeah.
But you're going to mark up your materials less.
Gotcha.
When you price this way, you've got to mark up your materials more as well. So just like with labor, you have a material efficiency in your business as well. Mm-hmm. I would start at 50%. So if you take $100 material again, right, and you have a 50%, whatever that is.
Efficiency?
Yeah,
okay.
Dude, a brain fart today.
Right.
Holy cow.
You're just dropping too many nuggets.
And you have a 50% efficiency, right? Which means you're going to buy 2 of those for every one that you sell.
Yeah, sure.
Now you got to charge $200 for that just to cover the inefficiency.
Yeah.
And this is real stuff. Like in your business, this happens.
Yeah.
You might think that's crazy, but it's not. It legitimately happens.
Yep.
Especially at scale.
Yep.
And then so you're at 200 for efficiency. Now we got to do for our gross margin, right? Mm-hmm. And this is just based off your P&L.
Yeah.
I got to hit certain numbers on my P&L.
Yeah.
It's whatever I sell, I have to hit those numbers on my P&L.
Yeah. It still comes back to that it's a math equation that is telling you this is how your business works. Yeah.
So if you have a 200% or 100%, if you have a 50% material efficiency, takes $100 material, now you have to charge $200 just to overcome the inefficiency in materials.
Yep.
And then you need to mark it up to hit, in this case, a 60% gross margin. So we divide by 0.4. You got to charge $500 for that $100 material.
Yeah.
So if you were there for an hour and it was $100 material, it'd be $750.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, with
that math, right? And a lot of people could start with that pricing.
with that style.
Yep, just like that. And what you would do is you would track on your P&L. You would track your billable efficiency and you would track your material efficiency. So you would say, okay, last month I worked X amount of hours and I billed out this many.
Yeah.
So if I worked 100 and I actually billed out 60, my labor efficiency is actually better. If you keep that for 3 months in a row, you could adjust your pricing for a 60% labor efficiency.
Yeah, I gotcha.
With your materials, the same thing. Okay, I billed out for this many materials, but I actually spent this much in materials on my P&L. If you're at a 60% efficiency, then for a few months in a row, then you could go in and adjust it, right? That way you're pricing based off of your business.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which is very important. Always price. The financial system is off of your business.
Yeah, every business is going to be different,
Yeah.
but that's how you do the math.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty simple.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's how you come up with the price.
Right.
Okay. Now, when you go take that price and you present it to the customer, you're going to do a flat rate, which means I could tell you how much the labor and the materials is for this coffee cup, but in reality, I'm just going to tell you this coffee cup is $25.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you're going to go, oh, there's a coffee cup and it's $25. Cool.
Do I want to buy it? Oh,
Let's
okay.
buy it. You're going to do the same thing for your customers. When you go to their home, you're going to look at their problem. You're going to do the math. You're going to figure out the labor. You're going to figure out the materials and the markups. And you're going to give them one price to do the work they need done.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah.
The third part of that financial system is you need to come up with a pay structure for your guys.
Sure.
And the easiest thing you can do is just set a wage that you're going to pay your plumbers so that every plumber makes the same.
You don't have like a journeyman scale or anything like that. Just like, this is what you do. It's this.
Yep. You could have a journeyman, an apprentice,
Sure.
and like a probationary period.
Sure.
So, and I don't like apprentices. I wouldn't hire apprentices unless I could hire them and they're in the truck relatively quickly.
Sure. Yeah.
Then sure. But if I'm like in Alaska, it's a 5-year apprenticeship.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pay for a guy to be there for 5 years.
Yeah. Just hanging out.
To not know if he's going to stick around for another 5 years
Yeah. Sure.
and him not make me any money.
Yeah.
That would be dumb.
Yep.
So I don't do that. So what I would want to do is I would want to say, okay, my journeymen are going to make this much money. And to come up with that, I would go look at what everybody else is offering in the marketplace and one up them by $5 an hour. So if everybody is like $25 an hour, go to 30. If everyone is $35 an hour, go to 40. Make your offer a little bit better. Otherwise, you're not going to get guys.
Yeah. Sure.
And when you go figure your pricing, you figure it with that labor rate.
Yes. And that's how you cover the cost of that.
That's how you cover the cost of that labor.
Yeah.
Labor costs are what they are.
Sure. Yeah. Sure.
Quality labor is going to cost you a lot of money.
Yeah.
But if you buy quality labor, you're going to gain efficiency.
Yeah. Which.
And that efficiency is what's going to make you a lot of money. Okay. So, like down here in Florida, pretty much everybody pays $25 to $30 an hour. So when I run my job ads, it's going to be $35 an hour plus commission. And then the other part of that is the commission. So when you structure your commission, you can structure your commission in a way where the more efficient that person is, the more money they make, and the more money the business makes. And the business actually gains efficiency along with it.
Right.
So if you set a base limit for how much they have to earn before they start earning a commission.
Earn like how much revenue they have to bring in.
Yep. So like in Alaska, we paid our guys $55 an hour. Anything over 10K, they got a 10% commission on. So when they bill out 10K, they start earning commission on everything after that.
Yeah, gotcha.
So if they bill out 20K in a week, they get 10% on 10K.
Yeah.
Another $1,000 on their
yeah,
paycheck, right? And what that does when you're looking at your P&L, you have labor and materials are your COGS.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at labor as a percentage of the total revenue that you brought in, you need to keep it under 25%. So when you structure your commission, you would structure it to where when you start giving that commission, the amount of money they produced versus the amount of money on their paycheck, the amount of money on their paycheck is 20% or less of the money that they brought in. Okay. And you want to keep it that way. And if you map it out on a spreadsheet where they get 10% over a revenue minimum, you'll see that percentage start to go down.
The percentage, like the labor burden on your P&L?
The labor burden on your P&L.
Yeah,
So
which is cool.
So now
that's what you want.
This is how you pay guys more out in the field, get them to produce at a higher level than your competitors, and it drives your labor rates down, all while paying them more money.
Yeah. It's like a cheat code.
Yep. And guess what happens when they start making more money?
You make more money?
Well, you make more money, but guess what they start doing?
Being happy.
They start being happy. They start telling their friends. Like the hardest part about a plumbing business is getting the labor. I think any trades business, HVAC, electrical, anything is getting the labor. They start telling their friends, dude, I'm making an extra $1,000 a week here.
Yeah.
Or I'm making an extra $2,000 a week here.
Yeah. Or like last week I made, like in your case, like one of your guys, like I made $8,000 last week extra.
$8,000.
Like that's like real money.
Dude, I made that's like what most people are making in 2 months.
Yeah. 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 It's crazy.
In 1 week, extra on my paycheck. Yeah. And so now you have a good culture and you have high paid technicians and people want to come work for you and word gets out. And now you have solved your hiring problem.
Yeah, and meanwhile, you're still doing all the like attention getting to let people know that you're a company who's awesome, who's hiring.
Yep.
So then you're getting good in-house referrals.
Yep.
Which are huge, right? Like people who say, "Hey, my buddy's really awesome. He wants to come work here. You should like here's his number."
Yeah.
That's really cool than just a random guy off the street.
That guy will come walking in your door.
Yeah. Yeah.
And be like, "Hey, my buddy works here. I really want to work here."
Yeah.
You'd be like, "How come?" Well, he's making a ton of money and he said it's a cool place to work.
And you're like, "Oh, interesting."
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
Yeah. That's a way better prospect than just a guy who you finally finagle to get into your office and yeah.
Okay, so we've got how much you charge, how you charge it to the customer, how you pay your guys. The last part of the financial system, well, there's 2 parts to it, but the last part we'll cover in the follow-up. But we've got your membership structure.
Oh yeah, sure.
And it's part of your financial system because if you structure it right, it'll make you a ton of money.
Right.
It's kind of part of your financial structure and part of your marketing or your customer acquisition structure.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we want to sell people a membership, and you want to structure your membership as $99 a year and give them access to special benefits that don't cost you anything. So if you say our membership is $99 a year, you get 15% off all of our services, priority scheduling, man, what else?
Priority scheduling, a percentage off, waive the dispatch fee.
Waive dispatch fees and access to exclusive deals.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yep.
Exclusive like discount deals or whatever.
Yep.
Promos.
If that's promotions. Yep. Access to exclusive member-only promotions.
Yeah.
VIP priority scheduling.
You're part of the cool kids
15% off all services. That's it. They're part of the Cool Kids Club.
Yep.
You start going to your customers and you turn 20 to 30% of them into members. So now they're paying you $99 a year and it doesn't cost you a dime. So when you're figuring that price,
because it's not like a service contract where you're saying, hey, you're going to pay down a balance on this service that I provide to you each month. It's not that, or each year. It's not that kind
of.
The
$99 they pay you goes straight to your bottom line.
Yep.
So in the beginning, we talked about the employee that you're now charging $250 for. Well, if you're going to give your members a 15% discount, you take that $250 and you divide by the inverse again. So you divide by, what is that? 0.85. Or sorry. Yeah, 0.85. Let's see what happens. Make sure that's right. Dun, dun, dun. So now you're charging $294 an hour, and you will discount your members.
Yeah.
You do the same thing with your materials. Figure out your efficiency.
Yeah, sure.
You figure out your desired margin figure out your efficiency, then you figure out your desired margin on your P&L, and then you figure out how much you have to mark it up to hit margin, even if you give them a discount.
Yeah, because you need to hit your desired gross margin on your labor and your materials.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
And you're going to discount the homeowner on both of those, labor and materials, all together.
Yeah,
so you're going to take the final bill, and they're going to get 15% off. Okay. That is going to be the catalyst of your business growth, that membership right there. Because what happens is when we get to the next system, the customer acquisition system, we need to do marketing to attract customers to our business. Once we serve those customers, we need to keep them in our business. We need to keep them calling us back. Easiest way to do that is to say, hey, I'm a member at your company. I get special benefits when I call you, and I pay for those. So who am I going to call?
The person that I'm a member with, obviously.
You're going to call the person you're a member with.
Yeah. I've already found my guy. I'm just going to go with them.
And how nice is it to know that you have paid $99 to guarantee that they're going to be there and provide those benefits for you?
Yep.
They're going to give you priority scheduling, so you're going to schedule ahead of everybody else, and you're going to get 15% off because you paid this $99 fee. And the thing is when you do this, like if you're priced right, like you can imagine, your ticket, you're rarely going to run across a ticket that's under $1,000.
Right.
And the membership's going to pay for itself most of the time on that very first service call. So if they needed you again, it's just saving them money.
Yeah.
This is what it looks like to the customer.
Yeah.
So it's like a no-brainer.
Yep.
If you've read Alex Hormozy's book, what is it called? 100 Million Offer?
Yeah, I was like, crap, I can't remember it.
100 Million Offer. If you've read 100 Million Offer, what is he saying there?
He says you want to essentially construct an offer that's people would be stupid to refuse.
Right. And so if I told you this thing pays for itself on the first call, and should you need us again,
You're going to save money.
you're going to save money.
Yeah, why wouldn't you do it?
Why wouldn't you?
Like if you went to the grocery store and they're like, hey, you want to join our membership to join our grocery store? Listen, it's going to pay for itself right now. And then when you use it, the grocery store would be weird, but let's just roll with it.
Yeah.
And then next time you spend money, you're going to save money.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah, sure. Well, sounds like a good deal.
Yeah.
Then you make it really easy to sign up.
Yep.
And then there you go.
And then you convert 20 to 30% of your customers, and you start keeping 20 to 30% of your customers that you serve using your business.
Yeah.
So now they're repeat customers. You don't have to market to them again.
Yep.
So imagine
got
that.
it.
You have one technician, maybe it's you yourself, the owner, and you're going out and you're selling members. You're selling memberships, okay? And you sell them for an entire year. Next year, and you're doing enough marketing to attract all new customers for an entire year. Next year, you get 20 to 30% of those customers call you back. So now you market and you get 130% of the customers you had the year before. Now you're selling memberships again. You're going to sell another 20 to 30% memberships on the 1,000 people, right? Now you're getting, sorry, not 1,000 people. You're going to sell another 20 to 30%. And then you're going to have 40 to 60% of your customers are going to be return customers the next year.
Yeah, sure.
You're going to be able to hire a guy. You're going to continue to sell memberships. Your business starts to grow exponentially just off return customers.
Yeah, it gives you such if you can do this from the beginning.
If you map this out on a spreadsheet, it puts you at like 10 million in 4 years.
Yeah,
in revenue.
Just because you're not even selling a ton of your membership. 20 to 30% isn't like a wild amount of memberships.
Yeah. Without raising your marketing budget.
Yeah, sure.
And you're raising it dollar wise, but percent of what you spend based on how much you
yeah.
actually bring in actually goes down.
Yeah.
Like in the first couple million, it goes down dramatically, and then you can kind of level it off at a pretty low rate just because you're selling memberships. You can keep your marketing expense down to like 5%
Yeah, sure.
and continue to grow your business off of that.
Yep.
So you don't actually have to spend a ton of money on marketing to grow, all because you're selling memberships.
Yeah. What do you think protects your churn of memberships?
Doing a good job. That's it.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Protecting that when they call, you go serve them well.
Yeah, and the whole thing is really good from the time they call and you answer the phone. That whole experience is good.
Yep.
Like the example I have is I just hopped on the phone with Geico because I'm switching insurance, and my new insurance company was supposed to cancel on my behalf. They didn't.
Oh, nice.
So I hopped on to Geico and I was like, hey, I got this bill going out. I just switched things. And this is the thing that always keeps me with Geico, Jared, is when I call, they answer. And the people who are on the Geico lines are like so good at their job. One, the line is crisp. There's no fuzziness.
Yep.
Whenever I call other insurance, there's always this weird fuzziness. I'm like, why is this ghetto? Geico is just like, what's up? How's it going? Oh man, they're so nice. And this lady just destroyed me. She just was like, hey, we can do exactly the same thing that they're doing, but here, check this out. This is what we can do in this. And I was like, all right, you kept my business. All because they just did a good job.
Yep.
Like they just did a good job, and they have retained me for 14 years because when I call, they answer, and it's really easy and seamless. And I was like, dang. And it's the same thing with your company, with your plumbing company. It's like when they call, and for some reason, if they, I don't know, whatever it might be, you just got to be like, hey, we're here. I still answered the phone. I followed through on my obligations.
Dude, yes. You want to know the number one secret to growing your business really fast and making tons of money?
Answering your phone.
No. Just do a good job. Like start to finish. Think about how the customer interacts with your company and make it a pleasant interaction. Think about what your customer wants. What do they really want?
They just want they just want the result.
They want the result as soon as humanly possible.
And they
actually want it sooner.
And they want it simple and with no arbitrary. Here's another example from my recent insurance thing. So like with this other company I was dealing with, to cancel, I had to provide them with proof of insurance, which I was super annoyed with because I was like, why does it matter to you? This is my problem, not your problem. It seemed so and they're like, well, it's just our policy. And I was like, this annoys me because it's arbitrary.
I would have said no.
Yeah, and then I was like, so what happens if I just pull my card and I don't make my payments? And she's like, well, you'll just have a balance on your account. We'll just send you to collections. And I was like, she's like, it's just easier if you just send us the document.
Isn't that so annoying?
Yeah, but the thing is I was like, this is so arbitrary. And it just annoyed me because I didn't understand why.
Yep.
And so like not having any of that crap in there and then just helping somebody and then just like doing a good job and having no arbitrariness to your service experience is really important.
Yep.
Because then it keeps people like me very happy. When I just call and I get a thing and then the result happens and then I'm like, wow, that was cool. That was easy.
Yep. It's literally that easy.
Yeah, don't add weird barriers.
No, not at all. Just answer your phone. Get somebody out to their house as soon as you can. Make sure that's a pleasant human being that you send out there.
yeah, sure.
When that guy's out there, listen to the customer, do a good job, solve their problems, charge them tons of money for it. Make sure they're happy. Call them up and make sure they're happy. And your business will go a long, long ways.
Yeah.
And as long as you're priced right, you'll make a ton of money.
Yeah.
It's literally that simple.
And like at the beginning of the call, when we were talking about the power washing company and how in our market, in most every market, there's so many people doing stuff, not doing it very well. Like if you just did the things that you just described, like you'd be right up with the top with whoever you want to name in your market, who you consider the quote unquote, the big guys.
Yeah. Last year I tried to call a pressure washing company. As you know, I called a bunch of pressure washing companies and nobody answered their phone. There was one company, literally one company answered out of 15 people. One company answered and I got their answering service. And so they were like, yeah, we'll take a message and then when they're back in the office, they'll give you a call. Never got a call. And so I'm sitting here. My house is dirty as all get out. It's growing like green moss on the back side of it. And I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to pressure wash this thing myself. And I really don't want to.
Yeah.
And so I asked my yard guy, who has since said, hey, let me know when you got your pressure washing business open, because I'll start recommending people.
I need a
your way.
referral, yeah.
So I talked to my yard guy. I'm like, dude, you know any pressure washing guys? He goes, oh, my buddy wants to open a pressure washing business. Let me give you his number. So I call him. He answers. He comes over. The poor guys, they were super nice guys. The one guy was an electrician. The other guy, I don't remember what he did. But they were like starting this kind of on the side. So they came on the weekend to clean my house. And they come with a Home Depot little Craftsman pressure washer, not enough hose, climbing up on ladders, spent 6.5 hours pressure washing my house, these two guys, for like $300. And I was like, dude, I was like, you guys didn't make enough money. I can tell you that for sure.
Yeah.
Like you got to either get a better system or charge more, one of the two. But the whole thing was difficult for me because
you had barrier after barrier after barrier the whole time.
But they were literally the only ones that could get it done. And so what's funny is like the pressure washers that are in town right now, and this is true for plumbing and electrical and HVAC, the ones who are in business right now, everybody's worried, oh, there's so much competition, blah, 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 blah. They are literally putting millions of barriers between customers calling them. And if you just get rid of those barriers, the customers will call you and they'll keep calling you because you're so much easier to deal with.
Yeah.
Even if you're hundreds of thousands of dollars more.
Yeah. Like, I mean, like my insurance quote with Geico was like $50, $60 more expensive than my other quote. But I was like, you know what? It's just so
per
much.
month.
Yeah. And I was like, that's
$600 a year, dude.
I know.
But it's like a gun.
Yeah, it is like, kind of. Maybe it's part of a gun.
That's how I think of everything.
That's like a gun. That's very
What
American
can I buy with that money?
Yeah, well, but the whole ease of experience with them,
Yeah.
like I don't even care. Because my experience with the other company was just like
So you had Geico, and who was the other company?
Progressive. And so Progressive got me an introductory quote for cheaper, and they wanted me to have their stupid app that gives me a driving credit score essentially.
Dude, I had Progressive for years and it was awesome.
Yeah, see, my experience with Geico has been awesome. And then when I was switching to Progressive, all the reps I had, I was like, these are all pretty mediocre reps. Like, I don't like this whole experience isn't as great, as seamless. And then talking to Geico is just like, oh, this is so easy. But the point is they retain my business at a higher rate, not that much higher, but a higher rate. Because I just valued the experience. And that to me is good enough. Because I know if I need them, I can call them and I can get my stuff taken care of.
Here's the thing. You just telling me on this podcast, guess what I'm going to do?
What are you going to do?
Switch to Geico.
I like Geico, yeah.
Because right now I have State Farm. So when I moved to Florida, I got State Farm for my home insurance. And they can auto bill my home insurance on my credit card.
Yeah.
And to save money, I got their auto insurance.
Yeah.
All my policies expire on a different date. And they can't lump them together.
Interesting.
And then they won't auto bill my credit card.
Also very interesting.
Every 6 months, I'm like, just bill my credit card. If I pay 6 months in advance, it's like $200 cheaper.
Yep.
But then they won't auto bill unless I'm on month by month. And so now, every 6 months, I have to call them every 6 months for each vehicle, and it's all different times.
Dude, that
seems like it's constantly happening.
Yeah, I bet. That's like, yeah.
Yeah, super annoying. So I'm going to switch to Geico.
Yeah, tell them I sent you. Maybe I can get my $50 back, per month.
Okay.
They'll be like, who sent you? Oh,
Who?
Cool.
Oh, yeah, Joel. He's a cool guy.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. He's been with us 14 years,
He's one of our top customers.
Yeah, he's tried to quit 3 times, and we keep bringing him back in.
We've been charging him extra for years.
Yeah, that sucker. Wait, what? Yeah, cool.
Yeah, super cool.
All right, cool. So financial system. And I think our last podcast was a big deep dive into all that junk. And
Probably. So, yeah, because it sounded familiar.
Yeah.
It wasn't our last because we talked about selling the business last couple of podcasts. There is one totally on the financial system back in there somewhere. You guys could go find it. So then when we get into the customer acquisition system, right, you need to have a system around getting customers.
Yep.
And part of that is your membership.
Mhm.
you're going to retain them.
Yep.
Here's the thing. Like, if you download my playbook, go to wealthyplumber.com/playbook, or click the link in the description if you're watching on YouTube. There's a section in there about LTV, or lifetime value, okay, that explains it really well. If you look at like the timeline of how long customers are going to be with you, you know, if you spend marketing on them year one and then you retain them for 7 years and they buy from you every year, let's say they spend $1,000 for easy math. We take a customer that we spent, you know, I spent $105 to get a customer with my plumbing business, or I spent because I don't own it anymore. But I spent $105 and in return I get $1,000. If I don't retain that customer, that's all I get. If I retain that customer, number one, I do a good job. Number two, I sell them a membership and give them special benefits. If I can retain them on average for 7 years and they continue to buy from me, let's say they only buy $500 a year for the next 6 years. That's an extra $3,000 I pull from that customer, all from the same marketing spend.
Yeah, from that initial, in this case, $105 of marketing spend.
That's how you keep your marketing expense low.
Yeah, by holding the customer. Man, how many guys do you think don't do that?
A lot.
Like hold customers intentionally?
A lot. They don't even think about it.
Huh. Interesting.
Because they don't understand lifetime value.
Yeah, that's still so weird to me. It's like, why wouldn't you, even if you didn't even know what memberships were, like why didn't you try to understand that, like, if I keep this person, this is very valuable to me. This is a valuable relationship to hold. Yeah.
Yeah, very valuable.
Maybe sometimes the trap in that is if you're the type of company that really wants to go after the water heaters or the repipes, you're almost going after a one and done service.
That's why going after water heaters and repipes and all that, I think it's dumb. That's why it doesn't work. It's like, why not? So if you're going to pay for pay-per-click, especially, right?
Oh yeah, sure.
Because how are you going to get just water heaters?
By just advertising using keywords about just water heaters.
Yes. So you have to do lead generation advertising only.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Sounds expensive.
Very expensive. And you only get to serve that customer one time.
Yeah.
So now every time you get a customer, you have to pay for advertising on a very expensive keyword that everybody wants.
Yeah, because everybody's thinking the same thing. They're thinking, oh, that's a big ticket. There's good margins on this.
Yeah. And so you could pay for a cheaper keyword.
Yeah.
Do all plumbing services, sell that customer a membership. And if you sold 8,000 memberships, you got 8,000 members with water heaters in their home. Yeah. When their water heater goes out, who are they going to call?
Yeah,
they're going to call you.
Yeah.
And you don't have to pay for that expensive keyword.
Yeah.
Number two, nobody's searching water heater, like water heater repairman.
Yeah.
They're searching plumber. Yeah. Plumber near me when their water heater goes out. So you don't really even know what they're searching for.
Right.
So the best thing you can do is screw all that and market to them that you're a plumbing company that gets to them quickly, takes care of their needs, and makes them happy.
Yep.
That's it. And like part of your marketing system needs to be, we have a podcast on marketing as well. You guys can go watch the whole thing. Needs to be building your brand.
Yeah, sure.
Especially in this day and age. Like we've got the PE firms running across the nation and they're driving the cost of pay-per-click through the roof. Call volume's down. PE firms have bought across the nation. Pay-per-click is so damn expensive right now that in most places it's not doable for plumbers, HVAC guys, electricians.
Yeah, not doable, especially if that's like your main go.
Yeah.
Like if that's your bread and butter is I buy leads through pay-per-click.
Yes. And think about that. If it doesn't matter where you're buying leads from.
Sure.
If you are buying leads and not investing in your brand, you will always be buying leads.
And then you'll always be subject to the whims of the company who's giving you these leads and the prices that they will set based upon demand or arbitrary things that you're not aware of. All sorts of stuff.
Or you can build a brand. And what you're doing is you're buying space in somebody's head. And nobody can take that from you.
Right.
You can always find a platform to go buy more space in people's heads.
Yeah.
Right.
Those platforms are everywhere.
And you're just picking the platform by where it's cheapest.
Mm.
So it used to be TV and radio.
Yep.
And then it moved to social media.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can buy Google display ads and Facebook ads and YouTube ads
Mm-hmm.
and really get in people's heads relatively cheap.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can live there forever.
Yep. Especially if you're constantly like when you buy a little bit of real estate in somebody's head, and then what's going to happen is they're going to slowly forget about you. But if you hit them with a reminder, it's going to fill that bar back up.
Yep.
And then if you hit them, they'll slowly forget about you. But then
Yep.
you'll hit them again. Like think about every ad any of you guys have ever seen on any social media platform, and the things, especially when you've bought a product, you probably didn't buy it the first time you saw it,
Nope.
but eventually you just like saw it like the 10th time. You're in the right frame of mind. You're like, wow, it's whatever. I'll click the button.
Let me
And you're
ask
like,
you
oh,
this.
Let me buy this.
You ready?
I'm ready.
When I say basketball shoes, what company do you think of?
Nike. I just imagine Michael Jordan on some.
Okay. That's what you
shoes.
need to do with your plumbing company. When your customer thinks plumber, they think of your company.
Mm-hmm.
If you can do that, think about Nike.
Sure.
They don't serve you like lead generation ads. You don't search basketball shoes and you get a Nike that's like sponsored.
Yeah.
Buy this cool Nike shoe.
Yeah.
Right? You don't get that.
Mm-hmm.
I bet Nike has to pay for its name
Yeah.
because otherwise somebody else is going to pay for its name.
Yeah.
And I would do that on pay-per-click. I would pay for my own name,
Right.
but nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you want to do.
Mhm.
Like long term, if you have to do lead gen to get going, great.
Sure.
As long as the lead gen is affordable,
Right.
great. But don't neglect your brand.
Yeah.
We've seen it happen too many times where people built their businesses on these one or two lead gen platforms.
Especially if they were hot at the time when they built these businesses. Like
They neglected their brand and now they're not doing so hot.
Yep, because
Yep.
they just looked at, because this is what people want to do with their client acquisition system is they want to like, oh, if I just invest in the thing, I never have to think about it again, and the thing
Yeah.
will always work forever.
Yeah.
But that's not
There
true.
is no thing.
No, there's no thing.
There's no magic secret. There's no silver bullet. It's just old school marketing.
Yeah, what comes down to like the principles of advertising is, like you said, is purchasing somebody's attention.
Yep.
That is all you're trying to do.
Grabbing their attention and then showing them why your business is different.
Yeah.
I told this story a few weeks ago in our coaching program, but there was an old beer company that was struggling to sell beer.
Mm-hmm.
And they hired this famous marketing guy to come in and be like, hey, help us market our company. He's like, okay, take me around. Let me see your operations. And so he's taking them around and showing them all this stuff. And they get to one point in the operations and the marketing guy is like, what is this? What are they doing? And the brewer is like, well, they're filtering the beer. And he said, oh, that's it. He's like, what do you mean that's it? He's like, well, you guys sell filtered beer. And the brewer's like, well, everybody sells filtered beer. And the marketing guy was like, yeah, but nobody knows. And nobody's telling their customers that they filter their beer.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be the world's first filtered beer company. I can't remember what beer company that was.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys know, put it in the comments because I want to know.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently they went on to be like one of the greatest beer companies in the world selling filtered beer.
Yeah.
And that's how they did it. And so you think about what's funny about that story is that the filtered beer added no value to the customer.
Right.
Right. But it added a perceived value in their mind.
Right.
Like they thought of the beers being more valuable
Mm-hmm.
because of how they positioned their message in the marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can do the same thing with your plumbing company. Think about what you do, something you already do that would be perceived as more valuable to the customer.
Mm-hmm.
So what do customers want? They want somebody to answer the phone. They want somebody to get there quickly. They want their problem taken care of pronto. Like if they could snap their fingers and magically their problem was gone, they'd pay you tons of money for that.
Right.
You'd be the best plumbing company in the world. So the closer you can get to that service, and when you tell your customers what you do, right? Like, hey, we actually answer the phones. Hey, we get to you quick. Like
Yeah.
we've got same day service.
Yeah. You'll talk to a human.
Yeah. We actually have humans that answer the phone.
Yeah.
Like on your social media, take pictures of your CSRs answering the phones.
Yeah.
and post that on social media.
Yeah, it's very easy to do. You have an iPhone. You probably have a really good camera.
Super
within
simple.
Your iPhone.
Take pictures of your technicians and how professional they look with your brand and put it on social media and say something about how professional you guys are. All of a sudden, whether you're more professional or not from your neighbor,
Right.
your fellow plumbing company, the customers are going to perceive you as more professional just because you told them you were more professional. That's how you market your company.
Yeah.
Okay.
So give us like the brass tacks of the client acquisition system, like what it is, maybe like when should you implement, how do you implement it? Like,
so right now I think it's we need to be findable on the internet, right? So we need a website that converts people.
should you do this yourself? Should you hire a company?
I hire a company. So you need a good logo and a good brand that doesn't look like garbage. And then you need a decent website that communicates all the stuff we just talked about and has lots of ways to contact you and lots of options to contact you. And you need to be findable on the internet. So when they search for you, they find you in tons of different places, right? And then if you can do lead gen, if you can find a lead generation source that's affordable, fine. I think right now, in my experience, Google local service ads is about the only affordable lead generation source. The next step out of that, now it's affordable, but it's up and down.
Yeah, sure.
Like one day you'll get 30 calls, the next day you'll get 2. Guy down the street will get 100 calls and you're only getting 1.
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
Sure, yeah.
Nobody can tell you why that is.
Yeah.
So
mysteries of the universe.
it's not something you want to grow your business on.
Right.
You just have it there and it brings in whatever calls it brings in.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
but you don't rely on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're not looking for, again, you're never in advertising, you're not looking for this thing that's the cornucopia, the silver bullet that you're just going to ride through victory with.
Yeah.
Like, that's not how it works.
Yep. And so right now I think guys really need to be investing in their brand awareness. So the cheapest place to get eyeballs is Meta, the Meta platform, and even Google. So if you run ads on Meta, so they show on Facebook and Instagram, you cover 99% of your customer base are on one of those 2 platforms. So now you can serve them ads, drive them to your website, and then you can retarget them on Google display ads, YouTube ads, and Facebook ads again. So now you can start, they'll see you everywhere. You can follow them around for 90 days on Google display ads, right? And it's super cheap. You can start feeding them YouTube ads. So they saw you on Facebook, they went to your website, now they see you on YouTube, they see you on, I did an example today, like I looked up cookies, like a cookie recipe. You go to a cookie recipe site and there's tons of options for Google display ads.
Yeah, everywhere.
You don't want to do
recipes, dude. Oh my gosh.
You don't want to do video on a Google display, BTW.
Gotcha.
You want to do an image because the video plays and you don't hear it.
Yeah, sure. So you're not really looking at it.
No. So imagine like who's our target demographic? Who's our ideal customer? If you have a plumbing, HVAC, electrical, any home service company, who's your ideal customer?
Middle to upper income homeowner.
And typically out of the home, who calls you?
Probably the husband at the request of the wife.
It's usually the wife calls.
I know.
In our experience, usually the wife calls.
Yeah.
We deal with more women than we do men.
Yeah.
By a long shot.
Sure.
And so if you think about that, what kind of websites are women going to?
Like cooking websites.
They're going to blogs.
Yeah,
they're going to like healthcare blogs.
They're going to furniture websites.
They're
going to like, fairy fantasy book websites.
Yeah, all this stuff where Google display is heavy.
Oh, and dude, like the most obnoxiously heavy.
It's insanely heavy.
It's like it's actually it's
so
overbearing.
Imagine you run a ad on Facebook that gets this middle-aged woman to click on your ad, and she goes to your website. On your website, she sees a video of the home of the owner of the company telling that housewife why they're such a good company and why they're special and why you should call them. And she's like, oh, I like these guys. And then the next day she goes to look up a cookie recipe and you're plastered all over that cookie recipe page. And then she sits down at night and puts on a YouTube video and your YouTube ad plays. And then she scrolls through Facebook before bed and there you are again. Like in one day, that lady knows who you are.
Yeah.
And then you do that for 90 freaking days.
Yeah. How many companies do you think are doing what you just described?
None.
Yeah.
It's retarded.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
No, I mean, very few.
Yep.
Because that costs money and it takes time.
Yep.
But
it's not thought of either.
It's not thought of.
Because everybody's putting all their money and time into things like pay-per-click.
Pay-per-click, yeah. But if you can do that, when you can, so if you just do it, then you will build brand awareness very quickly. Like give that 6 months to really cook, and I guarantee you your phone will start ringing. And then go and sell them a membership and do a really good job so they tell their friend, and you have a business that will grow exponentially.
Yeah.
Very quickly. It's not hard. Okay. But you got to be findable.
Yep.
Right? If you build a brand and then they go on the internet to search you and they can't find you.
Yeah, or your GMB doesn't list a website because you never got one built. Like that's always a tip off to me. I'm like,
or
no
you look
website.
super professional in your ads, but then they go to your GMB and you look like a dirtball company.
Yeah, like they use stock photos for your ads, but then they don't update the GMB with good photos, and then it's like,
So
what's happening here?
Little tip: never use stock photos.
Come on,
Like never.
plumber guy.
Go get a uniform, hire a photographer, get some professional photos done, send those to your marketing agency, and never use stock photos.
Yeah,
Stock photos are a dead giveaway.
yeah.
Dead
Yes, they
giveaway.
are. And every stock photo is so obviously stock.
Yeah. Super stock.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
Customer acquisition.
Okay. Boom. Done.
Boom. Done. Bam.
Bam.
Slam bam. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Now we're cooking with gas.
Peanut oil.
Yeah. What
It's peanut oil.
is it?
Yeah.
I cook with gasoline,
No, it's peanut
Burgers?
oil.
gasoline.
I think that came from Duck Dynasty. Phil from Duck Dynasty. That's what he always says.
Cooking with peanut oil.
Now we're cooking with peanut oil. I don't know why.
I don't know.
There's gotta be
It's gotta
a
be like,
reason.
yeah.
There's got to be a reason for it. Okay. Customer acquisition, phones,
Call centers.
call center. Hire people to answer your phone.
Yeah, humans, right?
Humans. Don't hire answering services. Like the answering service will not do as good of a job as a human.
No, there's
AI will not do as good of a job as a human.
okay. Another thing with my Progressive Geico story
Yeah.
is what I didn't like about Progressive is to get connected with the person, I had to talk to an AI person for like 5-10 minutes just to run through the things that I wanted, and they finally connected me with the person.
Isn't that dumb?
It's so dumb. Just bring me to a person.
Isn't it annoying when you have, they're like, press 1 for this, press 3, and you go through like 10 options, and then you press it, and then you go through 10 more options.
Yeah.
None of them are what you want.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
press the button, and you go through like 10 more options.
Yeah, or it's just like, hello, you can use complete sentences because I am a computer, but I'm kind of smart. And I use complete sentences, and it's like, okay, like 5 minutes later, even if it's 5 minutes, it's still like, okay, we're connecting you with somebody. It's like, just connect me with somebody.
Thanks.
Like again,
and then you're on hold for 20 minutes.
oh, dude.
Yeah.
Like also on Progressive website, it's like, we're usually 8 minutes until you talk to a human. And I'm like, I know if I call the Geico number, it rings once, maybe twice, and then there's like, hello, this is so-and-so. And
That's
I'm like,
awesome.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh, by your number, we already have your policy number pulled. I got all your stuff. What can I help you with today? I saw that you were just building a quote. Is that what you're wondering about? And I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you. Anyway, yeah, don't have an AI thing.
No.
There's probably tons of gimmicky AI stuff that exists right now.
Dude, there is.
I would just avoid all of it.
Avoid it all.
It's not what people
You don't
want.
need it.
No, people don't want to talk to robots. I don't know. I have never talked to a person who wants to talk to a robot.
Here's the thing. If you don't have the rest of the systems that we're talking about in this podcast, focus on that instead of hiring an AI thing to like do follow up or whatever.
Yeah.
They're way more important. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, is there any place in your business for like the answering service?
There is, like after hours
Okay, gotcha.
when you're not there.
Yeah,
Yeah. Hire an answering service.
gotcha.
We've always used Plumbline. They've been great.
Yeah, Plumline's cool.
Yep. And we basically only turn them on. Like we'll forward our phones to them if we have slots available the next day. If we don't, we let it go to voicemail.
Yeah. And I think even in my experience with calling like power washing companies is what happens is you get this person who is not really connected to the business. So they can't answer.
All they can do is take your information.
Yeah. And then pass it along in some capacity to the business owner.
Yep.
And then what happens is it typically falls through some cracks.
Yep. And even if they call you back 2 hours later, like maybe I'm in the middle of something when they call back.
Yeah, sure.
Now I got to call back and talk to the answering service.
Yeah, answer service. Yep, I've had this happen tons of times where then they pass my number along, and then
and it's just this like goat rope to get a hold of somebody. It's a barrier.
Yeah.
To get somebody out to your house to wash to the damn thing.
Yeah, and you, the business owner, are thinking, well, I'm saving money and effort because I don't have to hire this human and get an office and get them a computer and a phone and there's all these questions that come in. And it's like, yeah, but with all that comes a human who's connected who can do many things for you.
With all of that, here's the thing. That stuff sounds hard, and if you haven't done it before, it is. Like it's difficult to put together. But hard crap is what makes you money.
Yeah,
hard crap is what separates you from the competition. Like doing the hard work is the part that makes you tons of money. And you only have to do it once.
Yeah.
Like once you figure it out, now it's like, oh, I know how to do that.
Yeah.
We can hire somebody. Here's the phone script.
Yeah, totally. Here's the phone script. Oh, I'll just get you a computer and an iPhone, and then we'll just make sure the phone rings to this. And
here's your phone. Here's your computer. Here's how you answer. Here's how you schedule. Make it happen.
Yeah, easy peasy.
I'm gonna listen to your calls. If they suck, I'm gonna tell you.
Yep.
And if you don't change, I'm gonna fire you.
Yep.
So
I'm gonna go get somebody else.
So make sure you do the call script.
Yeah, it's a really easy job. Come on.
That's simple. Okay. The phones is literally the easiest part. Like, be genuine, talk to the customer, and book the call. If you guys want a free call script, it's in our playbook. Again, www.wealthyplumber.com/playbook, or click the link in the description below. Lays the whole thing out for you. If you follow it to a T, you will book a lot of jobs. It's literally a script we used for the last 3 years. The exact same thing. Identical.
Yep. Don't overthink
Print it out.
Don't overthink it.
Put it in front of your CSR and say, follow that. Nothing else. That's it. Do exactly like this script says. They can say it in their own way.
Yeah, sure. With their own vernacular and everything.
Yeah, it's the idea, right? And it's super simple. It's like, hey, this is so-and-so with Prospector. How can I help you?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, we can help you with that. Definitely, we can help you with that. Let me get your information. Or have we done work with you before? Okay, let me find you in our system.
Yeah.
Or let me put you in our system. One of the two. Okay, tell me a little bit more about your problem. Oh, yeah. Looks like we got a slot open here and here. Does that work for you? Yeah. Okay. Let me get this information filled out here. Looks like we got you down. Here's how the experience is going to work. Here's what's going to happen next. And we'll see you then. Click. It's not hard. Super simple.
Yep.
Okay. When you hire a CSR, so there was a big debate. I used to think, I still kind of think this, but my GM was, he thinks differently.
That's why we keep him around.
Well, I didn't keep him around. I sold him with the business.
Yeah. True.
So I used to think like, when you go into a diner and you got and you got the old lady, and by old I mean she's like 50, 55, and she calls you sweetie or sweetheart or honey, and her voice is kind of raspy, and she seems nice on the surface, but like she would tear you apart on the inside. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to cross her. You don't want to complain about your pancakes or your biscuits and gravy, or
because she's just not going to take it.
Yeah. Or if she does take it, she's going to go back there and spit in your food and bring it back out to you. But she's real nice, right?
Yeah. With all that being said, she's really nice.
And you're like, I actually really like this lady. I used to think that that's the kind of person that you want answering your phones. And I still kind of think that way.
Sure.
Because they're like nice and they're genuine, but then they take no crap.
Yeah, maybe that's really the part that you want to take away from that. Is they're nice and genuine, but they're also not going to like shrivel at the first
right.
Like at the first suggestion of pushback.
Right. So, but before I sold the company, we hired a CSR that was genuinely just like the craziest, nicest person I've ever met. Like, and I've met people like this before, and they're always hard for me to talk to because I'm not that way at all. I'm typically a little more blunt. Yeah, would you say that? Is that true?
Yeah, you're pretty blunt.
Yeah, typically just tell you what I think for the most part. Trying to get better at that. Be more conversational instead of like, what the hell are you doing?
Hello. How is it with you on this day?
Yeah. But she's like super nice, and you could not knock her off her niceness. So no matter what that customer did on the other line, she handled it in such a nice, professional manner, and she was really good at it. And I kind of feel like that's the kind of person you want, because there would be no situation where a customer could get mad at her.
Yeah.
They couldn't stay mad at her because she was so nice and tried to help them at all costs.
Yeah. She was really just their advocate, their partner, their like,
Yep.
like, I'm here for you, customer.
Yep. Yeah.
And I'm trying to get you the best solution possible.
Yes. Yep.
Yep. And I know that you're mad.
Yep.
But that's okay. I'm still here with you.
Yes.
I'm fighting for you.
And she did awesome. She continues to do awesome.
Yeah.
So that's what I would look for. Little side note.
Yep.
Okay. That's about it, man.
So with the call center, when should you implement that?
Like hiring somebody?
Yeah. Like, when should you get somebody to answer your phones for you?
As soon as you're losing money or work because you're too busy to answer phones.
Gotcha. So you wouldn't want to do it if you get like a job a day or something like that.
No. If you're getting like in reality, like if you're getting 2 jobs a day consistently, you can afford a CSR.
Yeah. So then you might as well because then CSR can do other stuff too.
Yeah. If you have the financial system in place, then, and you're doing 1 to 2 jobs, you can afford a CSR.
Yeah.
And I would totally do that. Even before I had marketing in place. Like ideally you would do financial system, marketing, CSR. But if you don't have marketing in place and you're busy, hire a CSR and then take the extra time you have to go work on your marketing. That's how I'd roll that.
Yeah.
And then the last part of the CSR stuff is to have them triage the calls. So when you get calls in your schedule, if you've got 8 jobs on the board and it's just you, have them send you to the most profitable jobs first. And if they don't know, then number one, give them a list of like, hey, these ones are our super profitable ones. Like if you guys love water heaters, well, then tell them anything to do with a water heater. Let's go that one first.
Yeah. Any of these things that might indicate the water heater might be the thing. That's where we want to go.
And you're going to move the other customer out of the way to get to the water heater first.
Yeah.
That way you're getting to the high dollar jobs and making the most money on that day.
Yep.
Typically it works out better that way, because if you're putting off the customer with no hot water versus moving the customer with a toilet that is overflowing every now and then.
Right.
Typically the customer with the toilet that, not overflowing, but maybe it doesn't shut off, keeps running, right?
Yeah.
Typically the customer with the running toilet doesn't really mind if you get moved, but the customer that doesn't have any hot water, they want that hot water fix now.
Yeah.
And so when you provide that service for them, number one, they're happier. Number two, if you were going to get to them later and like had to discount one or the other, 10% discount on a water heater is going to cost you a lot of money. 10% discount on a running toilet is going to cost you way less.
Yeah.
So it's much easier to move the lesser of the calls, even if you give them a little extra discount, and get to them later.
Yep.
And you'll make way more money.
Yeah.
So I would have my CSRs do that as well. So they're going to dispatch you, right? They're going to say, hey, go to this call next, go to this call, go to this call, go to this call.
Yeah.
And the more they can do that without you, the better. And then you can, like, if you're still in the truck, you, the tech owner, can just be a really good technician and bring in tons of revenue.
Yeah. Then you just focus on the one thing.
Yeah, and then you can use that money to spend more on marketing, to get more call volume, to be able to hire guys, buy more vans, buy more tools, and get yourself out of that truck.
Yeah.
And then if you're in the truck already, then they're triaging those calls, and that's how you're just going to make more money.
Yeah.
Because they're triaging the calls.
Yep.
And then your guys are going to go to better opportunities, And if you have that commission structure in place, they're going to make more money and they're going to be happier.
Yep.
And the cycle continues.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Shoot, man. Is that 3 systems down? Damn, we got 2 more.
2 more.
Oof.
Better hurry. The last ones are pretty simple.
Yeah.
Dude, we need we're going to revamp this podcast room with some
I mean, it's a snack break.
lazy boys.
Oh, yeah, that too. I was thinking a snack break, but
Just a couple, we just get a couple beds, put cameras above our heads.
Hey, welcome to the podcast. Yeah, one of us inevitably just falls asleep during it.
Why is it why are podcasts always in an office setting with a table?
That's a good question. Well, sometimes they're sitting in couches and talking to each other.
True.
Yeah, most of them though are over a table.
We're gonna do it different.
Yeah,
we're gonna do the beds.
I think we should eat in podcast, and then instead of just hearing slurping, then there's chewing.
You guys are really
choking,
food.
All sorts of stuff. You guys are in for a treat. Let me tell you,
it's gonna be epic.
Lots of ice cream and
Dude,
I'll get really fat.
Have you ever seen the podcast where they eat hot wings?
Yeah.
Or they have different hot sauces.
Yeah, super hot, and then the guy
Yeah.
interviews them, asks some questions.
Yeah.
That's a funny one.
I would never do that.
Yeah. My
No
wife
way.
really likes that podcast or that show. I personally think it's kind of boring because
Super boring.
some people are really funny, but some people it's just they're like, wow, that's spicy. And you're well, I don't care about these.
Sherlock.
Yeah, I don't care about these people enough because they're typically just celebrities who eat spicy stuff. But if they're not funny, I don't really care.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Where are we at?
we need to talk about
Fulfillment.
Yeah, fulfillment.
Super easy.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're on a CRM, the fulfillment almost takes care of itself.
Sure, because the CRM is going to do a lot of the quality of life for the customer on your behalf.
Yeah. So if you get on Service Titan and you build out a price book and you have technicians, basically the fulfillment is, okay, you guys get a job assigned to you. Number one, CSR should assign jobs one at a time.
Yeah.
So the technician just has that one job to take care of.
Yep. And they can maximize the benefit of that job. They can really take care of that customer. They're not rushing around doing crazy stuff.
And so the fulfillment is basically the technician is going to click the dispatch button, which is going to send a text to the customer saying, hey, so-and-so is on his way with a little photo of him and a little biop.
I don't think that's the right word.
Biography.
Yeah, biop is a medical thing.
Dude. Maybe I should have been a doctor.
Come to think of it, maybe you should have. The way that you said biop just struck me as man, this guy's a doctor.
With the amount of mistakes that I make when I'm working, I can't imagine being a doctor.
Yeah, I wonder how many times they look over the dude they're cutting into and then lock eyes and they're like, oops.
Yeah.
I'm gonna patch that one up real quick.
So the amount of tools that I would leave at a job site, can you imagine?
Yeah.
Leaving a tool in somebody?
I'm sure it's never happened.
Probably not. Never. Okay. So, and they're going to dispatch, send the technician or send the customer a text. If you don't have a CRM, you can do that on your own. You just text them, right? Have your technicians text them, hey, I'm on my way out to your house. This is so-and-so with this company. I'm on my way to your house. See you in 20 minutes.
We just signed up for Dude Wash with a company called Pulsem.
Yep.
And they do all of this for you. And so you could probably bolt this into a CRM that you already have if you're not on Service Titan, or if you just want that feature and you don't even have a CRM, they could probably take care of a bunch of stuff for you that does this. And I didn't think they're very expensive, but seems they do all the thing that we're talking about.
There you go. Pulsem.
Yeah.
And that's Pulse
M. Yeah, not
as
Pulse
in,
EM.
As in
I got a pulse and then I put an M after it.
M as in
mariachi.
Mariachi, okay. I'm thinking about doctor stuff. You're thinking about Mexican food.
Oh, man, that sounds good. I eat a burrito right now.
Oh, dude, that sounds real
I'm
good.
going Chipotle.
Ooh, I don't like Chipotle.
I like Chipotle.
Chipotle tastes like fake food.
It is fake food.
It's like
delicious.
fake, no flavor food. That's what it tastes like.
I don't eat for flavor. I eat for fuel.
I used to eat for fuel. And then I started eating for flavor, and my life got a lot better.
Yeah, well, maybe there's something to that,
Yeah, maybe. Okay. So he's going to get to the house, and you're going to design a process. You're going to have a sales process from the time the technician arrives at the home till the time he's complete with the job.
Mm-hmm.
And the process is basically, hey, go knock on the door. Don't crowd the door. Introduce yourself and say hello. Ask them what they got going on today.
Mm-hmm.
Don't assume that you already know.
Yeah, don't just walk into their house, start going right to the bathroom.
Yep. Have them show you their problems. Ask them if they have any other problems.
Mm-hmm.
Clarify questions. Make sure they don't want you to look at anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Be a professional. Write them estimates to fix what their problems are. And ask them what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
When they decide what they want to do the work just like you said you were going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Clean up your mess. Do a good job. Make sure they don't need anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And say goodbye.
Yeah.
Take the money and say goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
It's not difficult.
Mm-mm.
Not difficult at all. If you're just good at talking with people, you'll be just fine.
Yeah. You're not good at talking with people. What do?
You get good at talking with people.
Okay, you gotta like practice it in junk. And
Yeah.
just do it. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And so when you're training your guys on the system, the number one thing that you're going to have to train them on is communication skills.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like how to communicate with the customer and how to ask questions and how to write these estimates. And
How not to just stand there like, hey,
yeah, like
what's
a
up?
total idiot. How to actually be the professional that the customer wants in their home.
Mhm.
That's what your training needs to be on.
Yeah.
And so I would hold regular training and I would go through all of that
Mm-hmm.
over and over and over and over and over and over
Yeah,
and over
sure,
and
yeah.
over and over again.
Yep.
It's the number one thing we train on.
Mm.
Technical skills, they pick up fast.
Yep.
Customer service skills, that's a whole different ballgame.
Yep. But super important.
Super important. Okay. That's basically the fulfillment system.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Well, because again, it's a system that you guys are all really familiar with.
Yeah.
Like, I think maybe just when you're doing it, just as the business owner, I think it's probably helpful to design the ideal system.
Yep.
So that then you can train your guys on the ideal system.
Yep.
That's way easier when you're still in the field than when you're out of the field and you're like, what does this look like?
Yep.
We were just talking about this yesterday. Like for you to go and tell your guys exactly how to fulfill would be more difficult. Because you're like, dang, I haven't done that in a while.
I can still do it.
Sure.
I could. And and like guys get all caught up in like sales training and all this stuff. It's not, you don't need sales training. You need customer service training.
Sure. Yeah.
If you can go in there and develop a relationship with the customer and just be a professional, like you're looking at their toilet, ask them if they want you to look at their other toilets while you're
Right.
there. That's the right thing to do. It's the
Yeah.
kind, nice thing to do. And then look at their other toilets. If there's something wrong, bring it to their attention and give them a quote to fix it.
Yeah. Throw in all the stuff. You're there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like provide a really good service for the customer,
Mhm.
not in the way of like you talk all fancy or
Yeah.
whatever.
You know
but
all these objections and all that kind of stuff.
yeah, there's no objection handling needed.
Yeah.
All that crap is a bunch of BS.
I think a lot of the times the people are, if they want the thing, they're going to buy the thing. If they don't want to buy the thing,
Yeah.
they're just not going to buy the thing.
Yeah, you don't need to pressure them into buying.
Mhm.
You literally just need to be a professional, show them all the stuff in their home that's wrong, and ask them what they want to do.
Right.
That's it.
Be like, we can have this result achieved today.
Yeah. And show them the cost difference of fixing it today versus tomorrow.
Yeah.
We can fix all these one at a time, or we can fix them all today, and it's way cheaper.
Mhm.
What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
It's that easy.
Mhm.
If you can do that, you'll make tons of money.
Yeah.
Okay. The last part of this system, better hurry up. This is a short one.
Holy moly.
The last part of the system is the follow-up.
Mhm.
So the only time your guys are going to give discounts is when they sell a membership. It's the only way they can discount the work
Yeah, I
out
like
in the
that.
field. That's
Mhm.
it. Okay. Do not allow them to discount. Now, when they're at a home and they ask customer, what do you want to do? And they
Mhm.
want to think on it or sit on it. That's fine. Let the customer sit on it and think on it.
Yeah. Sure.
They're not ready to buy yet. You don't have to force them into buying.
No.
And if you do, it's probably going to leave a sour taste in their mouth.
Yeah. And they might feel forced into something and it might just be this awkward thing. And
Yep.
you might lose the membership or might be some hesitancy to call you out for the next thing because they know that, oh, but if he comes out here, he's going to sell me 12 different things and I don't know
Right.
if I want to deal with that.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
So let them choose to either buy what they want or not buy at all.
Yep.
And then follow up with that customer.
Mhm.
The fortunes in the follow up.
Mhm.
So back in the financial system, once you have your financial system in place, you'll know exactly what your break-even number is.
Mm-hmm.
So basically that dollar amount that you can hit in the month where all of your expenses are paid for that month.
Mm-hmm.
Once you hit that dollar amount, you have your CSRs go back and call all the unsold estimates from the beginning of that month and offer the customers a 15% discount on top of their membership if they have a membership.
Sure, yeah. Wow.
Okay. So those jobs, because your expenses are already covered, the only expense you're going to have on those jobs is materials.
Right.
If materials are typically 20% of your revenue, then you make 80% net margins on those jobs when you sell them.
Right.
And you've already spent the time
Right.
going there, taking the call,
Yeah, so
you marketed to the customer.
Sure, it's going to be super efficient.
From this point on, it's going to be really quick and efficient.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And all that other time is already paid for.
Mm-hmm.
So these jobs, you get 80% net margins. Even if you give your commission, your 10% commission of that to your technicians, right? Because they hit their minimum for the week, you're still at 70%.
Right.
So give your CSRs a 5% commission for any jobs that they convert over at the end of the month once you hit your minimum. That will incentivize them to start calling back and selling estimates. They're going to start with the most profitable ones first.
Yep.
Because that's going to get them the biggest commission, which is going to make you the most money.
Yep. And get your technicians the biggest commission.
And get your technicians the biggest commission. And you will take the customer who, when you were at their house, was like, man, I don't know if I really want to spend this much money right now. Like, I want to do the work, but it's not really a good time.
Right.
And the technician's like, don't worry about it. It's okay. You can always call us back. It was a great experience.
Yep.
And then you call them back up and you say, look, it's the end of the month. We're running a 15% promotion. We saw that we were out at your house a week ago. Just wanted to make sure that you didn't want to take advantage of this and get this work done before this promotion goes away at the end of the month. All of a sudden, that person is like, oh, dang, this company was really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't want to spend that much money, but now I can get it 15% cheaper.
I'm going to have to do it eventually anyway. I don't want to miss out on this potential savings today.
And you're going to convert a lot of those jobs and you're going to drive profit margins through the roof.
Yeah, because you've already hit all your numbers and all your stuff.
Yep. So this is also going to help your culture as well.
Sure.
Both commission structures together. Because what the CSRs want to do is they want to hit that revenue minimum as soon as possible.
Yeah, because if they can
so they're doing their best to help the technicians out in the field produce revenue at the beginning of the month. Your technicians also recognize that the CSRs are trying to help them, and they want to hit that because once they hit it, they know that the CSRs can start calling estimates and selling them for them. Estimates they've already wasted time estimating. Now all they got to go do is do them. And they can stack those and get them done really efficiently and bring in a lot of revenue, which makes their commission bigger. So now you've incentivized your CSRs and your technicians to really work together. And you'll see it instantly.
Right.
The second you do it, all of a sudden, everybody starts getting along. Everybody starts working towards the same thing. And your culture gets way better.
Yeah, because everybody understands and experiences that they can make real money if they work together and then they all are shooting for the same goals.
Yep.
And I think the key is that they're actually making real money.
Yep.
It's not like a BS program. It's like, oh my gosh, we can actually make real money if we do this.
Yep.
And last month, what if maybe last month they're like, we hit our goal in 2.5 weeks, which gave us a lot of time to just make commission.
Yep.
And they're like, man, if we can do that quicker,
That's typically what was happening at Prospector. We had about a week and a half left.
Wow. And then they were just
where we were calling up. And meanwhile, your technicians are going to continue to go out and sell.
Yep.
Work at full price.
Yeah, sure.
Yep. So you're just driving mass amounts of revenue.
Yeah.
One thing we missed on the CSRs is, actually we can cover it in follow-up. Part of this follow-up, so there's the following up on unsold estimates, but then just following up and doing happy calls.
Yeah, happy calls.
It's a really simple thing that customers really appreciate and can really set you apart from the competition. Sure. I used to think it was dumb, and we didn't do it for years and years and years, and then my GM was like, no, we're doing it. And he did it, and he was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So happy calls accomplish two things. If you call the customer the next day and you're like, hey, we're just calling to make sure that everything went good with the call, make sure all your needs are met, and they were totally happy. Number one, the customer's like, wow, you guys are calling to make sure I was happy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Number two, you get to ask them personally to leave us a review another time.
Yep.
Right. So you want to
If
text
they didn't
them.
already leave a review.
You want to text them twice. You want to email them twice. You want the technician to ask. Now the CSR can ask again. Hey, if you wouldn't mind, would you mind leaving us a review? I'm going to text you a link. Send them a link. When you ask a customer, you say, hey, I'm so happy you had a good experience with us. We really take pride in everything we do here. Would you mind leaving us a review on Google? If they say yes and you send them a link, the chances of them actually leaving a review are really high.
Yeah.
Because you got that yes from them.
Yep.
Over the phone. They want to be consistent with their actions. And the funny part is they don't want to say no to you at that point.
No.
Because you've provided them with a really good service. They already ranted and raved to you over the phone. And then you're like, hey, I want you to be consistent with that action and leave us a review. They want to say yes. And then when they say yes, they want to be consistent with that yes and actually leave you a review.
Yep.
There's a name for that. I can't remember what that is.
I would classify it as like consistency bias. Where you are biased to be consistent with something that you've already said.
Yep.
So if you're like, man, you did a really good job, and then you say, do you want to proclaim that publicly? And they're like, I guess so, yeah. I did just say you did a good job. I don't know why I wouldn't do that. I'm like, great, cool.
Yeah. So the second part of this is that most of the time, your guys, believe it or not, do a really, really good job.
Sure.
Because most people want to come to work and they want to do a good job.
Yeah, and we're usually triggered to notice all the bad stuff.
Yep.
It's really easy for us to then just notice the bad stuff, talk about the bad stuff.
Super easy to notice all the bad stuff. And if you can have your CSRs do happy calls, and what we did at Prospector is they would tag the ones in Service Titan that were happy. They'd put a happy call done that had a smiley face. And then there was a happy call done needs attention that didn't have a smiley face, had a frowny face. When you pop open that dispatch board and you're looking at yesterday's stuff and you see all the smiley faces, you're like, dang, we did a good job yesterday.
Yeah, sure.
And it gives you, the owner and the GM, if you've got one, and your CSRs when they're doing the happy calls, a good feeling.
Yeah, because sometimes the CSRs are accustomed to getting a lot of cranky customers, or they're having to call and move people. Like sometimes their workflow can have more difficult conversations than good.
More of a negative tone to their day.
Yeah, but if they see a bunch of like smiling faces, then they know that like actually we are doing well. That is, even though that's not my majority experience, like, oh, we actually do a good job here. This is cool.
We actually are doing a good job. And that's super important.
Yeah.
And that'll help your culture even more.
Cool, man. Well,
super dope.
Super duper dope. Is that our sign off?
Have I ever told this super dope story?
Yeah, a couple times.
Oh, man.
You can tell it again, though.
No, it's okay.
Maybe next time.
Worked with a guy. I'm going to tell it.
Okay, we're here.
I worked with a guy. He was a drug dealer. He dealt cocaine in Fairbanks, Alaska. And he had one of those, like a day bed, and it had a big, the bed frame was like those 2-inch tubes, right?
Yeah.
Well, he would pick it up and stuff cocaine up in the tubes. That's where he would hide his cocaine, in the legs of the daybed.
Yeah.
And when I worked with him, he was 52. He was a second-year apprentice. Got out of the jail when he was 50.
Wow.
Stopped.
Had to go and redo his life and everything.
Yep. Super nice guy. Awesome guy. Super slow. Drove me insane. Like I liked him to death, but then but he was 52.
Yeah, sure, of course.
And he was learning.
Yeah.
And
trying to do a good job, all the things.
Yeah, and he did great, like all in all. But we were working for this company and we were using super dope. And none of us had ever heard of super dope before. And he would always go, I ain't never seen no super dope before. Or no, I ain't never done no super dope before. Every single time I would pull out the tube of super dope, literally like hundreds of times a day.
Yeah.
For like a year.
I ain't never done no super dope before.
I heard that probably 30, 40 times a day for an entire year. Super dope.
And then
And
that's
he
just
thought
in
it
your
was
head.
he thought it was so funny.
Yeah. My takeaway from this story is that we never know the things that we do and say, how they'll influence other people around us. So,
Dude, there's quite a few things I say that have come from past experiences that I've been saying for years.
most things. And I can then, when I say them, I think back to the moment where I heard it and like the experiences. I'm like, wow. And I always like to remember the people who I was around. I was like, I should tell them that I still say that stupid thing. And sometimes I do. And they're like, you remember that? I'm like, yeah.
You ever hear me say work is hard?
Oh yeah. All the time.
That came from this old electrician.
Mm-hmm.
He retired, and then a good electrician friend of his owned a company, and he bid this job, and he was having a hard time getting workers. And so he knew that his buddy that retired could come back to work for so many hours out of the year and still keep his retirement.
Mm-hmm.
And so he asked him to come work on the job, and he was, getting kind of bored. So he thought, yeah, it's been 2 years since I've worked, but I could go work again. Yeah. And the dude, when he would bend over and pick something up, he'd be like, it looked really hard for him.
Yeah.
And he would be like, work is hard.
When he's just bending over, picking stuff up.
And I heard that. Same job, actually.
Oh, that's funny. So you had, I ain't never done no super dope over here. And then like, oh, work is hard over here.
Yep. And I heard that like hundreds of times. And I would started telling, like when I would pick something up, I would do work is hard.
Yeah.
And look at that electrician. He would just start busting up. And that has stuck with me for a long, long time.
Yeah, that's a common saying.
That's a very common saying.
In the Jared Williams universe.
Yes. My son's getting work is hard tattooed on his fingers.
Oh,
That's what he wants to do. I'm like, you're an idiot.
That's so funny. I was talking to somebody and I had this great idea for the Jared Williams branding overall experience is, we need to brand it like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Where it's like the Jared Williams universe, where it's like you're a superhero, I'm a superhero, Costin's a superhero. It's like welcome to the cinematic universe.
That reminds me of like I've been watching a lot of Andy Frisella.
Yeah.
And when you watch he's got his like CTI cruise the internet, and when it pops it up, he's like in like a movie. What it looks like they like superimposed his face in his head in like a famous movie scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we could just do that within the superhero movies, and it's the Jared Williams. What did I say? Jared Williams universe?
That sounds dumb. We should just do like Jared Williams, work is hard, but we make it easier for you.
And also, we are all in superhero costumes most of the day.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. You want to keep talking? We can just keep
Next
rolling
episode,
Uh-huh.
I'll bring my costume.
Okay, me too. We'll get a costume for the next episode.
My superhero costume. I'll be Jared Williams.
Oh man, I'm really seeing. Well, you'll be Jared what?
Yeah, Jared Williams.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be Jared Williams too. What if we wore the same costume? How awkward would that be?
Dude, you should.
Dress up like Jared Williams.
Yeah, I'll give you a couple of my Vans shirts.
Yeah.
I'll get you a hat.
Like I got to paint my face or something?
No.
I
Just take your glasses off. If you put a Vans shirt and a Vans hat on, dude, everybody would think we were brothers.
Yeah, most people already do think that. And they also say that I sound like you.
No.
No, that's too far-fetched. No
you can
way.
tell when it's Joel because it's like, hey,
manly.
My name is Joel. It's like robot.
Yeah,
robot man over there.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. At least I don't poop out nuggets or whatever you do.
Hey, if you want, like anybody who's watching this or listening to this, you want confirmation, we used to script the beginning of these.
Yeah.
And we would script the lines.
Yeah.
And it would be, so my son, Costin, does all the podcast stuff. And he would sit here and he would say, okay, here's your line. Mm-hmm. And then I would say it. Yep. And then be like, okay, Joel, here's your line. And Joel would be like,
I'd be like, listen, marketing is hard. If you are trying to market your business, it is better to do it in this way.
So just go back a few episodes. Yeah, you can see.
I think you're just jealous that
Joel's robot
you
voice.
couldn't do a robot like me. I think that's really what's happening here. It's just jealousy.
Totally.
Don't let that turn into resentment.
There's your superhero.
What? Jealousy?
Robot
guy?
Robot voice.
Oh my
robot
gosh.
voice guy.
I'll just get a big cardboard robot. Oh man.
That'd be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You'd have to stand.
I have a story to tell about that, but I won't tell it.
Next time.
Okay.
Next episode, robot story.
Okay, boom. It's going to be really lame because it's going to be so random, but that's okay.
Yep. Okay, again, grab the playbook, www.wealthyplumber.com/playbook. Bunch of free stuff in there. You got no reason to not get it. It's free. If you're watching on YouTube, click the link below. If you enjoy this podcast, let us know in the comments. and share it with your fellow plumber friends or electrician friends or HVAC friends or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Later.
See you next time.